Something I was going to ask you after we go live. We're live!
Live!
Yay! Darn, now I don't remember what I was going to ask you, though.
If you're here, welcome, and go check out Robin's Elementals hashtag because, yeah, I just reached an epic landmark and it was brilliant and cool. And now I'm really just hoping that a university with a really big wall in their chemistry department, like, sees this and goes, "Ooh, we need that because I want it safe from coffee." It's not safe. Oh, I was going to tell you this story. So I was going to hang him Friday, and the dude called me and I've actually double booked my Friday. I'm going to be in New Mexico, so I can't hang them, and you'll have to wait for Monday. And I was like, okay. But then part of me was glad because it meant that I had time to varnish them. I never varnish my work. But I was like, these are going to get knocked around a bit. They're big and bulky. Once you string them together, they've got a very, they need some toughness. So I rigged up a rig in the garage and I sprayed varnish on them, and Sebastian's not home. So as soon as they'd off-gassed a bit, I took them down and laid them on the floor of Sebastian's room so that I could put more up on the rig. Took about 4 rounds to get them all done. And Abby got the door for me in Sebastian's room at one point and went running in and jumped on the bed. And Sebastian had a pile of D&D books on the bed, and one of them slid right off and punctured Seaborgium.
Oh no!
Background, at least. It wasn't like on her face or anything, but I was like, oh no, be careful, honey. And then I saw what had happened, and I was like, you're not in trouble, and I love you, but you need to leave the room right now. Like they're already strung together. I can't repair it because there's 4 of them. Well, I can repair it, and I did, but it was crap. It's the most obvious patch in the world. Baumgartner would roll his eyes.
I was going to say something about Baumgartner.
Yeah. I need him. I need him to come in with tweezers because it's just a terrible patch, and I'm like, it'll never look the same. And like, no giving my child issues of worth. He's more important, but holy shit. Oh. And when we were talking about the state of the world, I was feeling I was about to say that I am frustrated at how it's impossible to convince certain people that they're being manipulated because they're absolutely dead certain that the reverse is true.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm on the side not endorsed by Nazis. That shouldn't be hard.
Our nation is too divided. I would like to be divided from Nazis.
Right?
Please don't try to make me find common ground with them. I believe that's morally wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it.
No, not going to do it. And one of the lies that's happening right now is the Nazis aren't really on our side. They're just trying to make Trump supporters look bad. And I'm like, then why didn't Trump repudiate them? He's had ample opportunity. He could have gone on Twitter and been like, by the way, I'm not a Nazi, and I don't endorse them, and I don't like them. He never has.
Yeah, that's because he is and he does. And also now he can't get on Twitter anymore.
When private enterprise has more balls than Congress.
You know who else has more balls than Congress right now? Though Congress is trying, to be fair. They're trying, like, articles of impeachment have been introduced. But PGA, the Professional Golf Association, has canceled all tournaments scheduled to be at Trump golf courses for, like, permanently. They can no longer be held there. And also they stripped him of his PGA title.
Good. Did you see when I opened up my Yahoo, it was a coach, a football coach. Can't remember who. I'm going to feel very silly about this if I can't remember who. What is his butt's name? It doesn't matter. It's not showing up anymore. But Trump wanted to give him a Medal of Honor or something, a presidential Medal of Honor. He refused to take it. It's like, no, don't want it.
Man, it is bothering me so much that I know I had something to either tell you or ask you, and I cannot for the freaking life of me remember what it was.
I'm sorry. Should we go back to topics we were talking about, or is it from before then?
It's from before. It was something that I was like, when I see Robin, I need to ask. I don't know what it was. Oh well.
It'll pop into your head 5 minutes after we're done. Congress, I need Biden to stop saying this isn't who we are, because this is clearly who we are. This is who we are. It's not who we want to be. It's not who we could be. It's not who we hope to be. But it is who we are, and being in denial of that is not helping. And it's a little like, oh God, I don't know if I can even find a not horrible simile for it, but it's like, suppose you have a parent that beats you and a parent that wrings their hands and says, oh gosh, I wish this wasn't happening. Like, neither of them are the solution to the problem.
Yeah.
Granted, one wringing their hands isn't beating you, but they're not fucking fixing it. And I'm like, that, yeah, smack down, please.
Yeah, well, it's like there was a time in my life when I broke up with someone that I was dating, and I said, you've done this, 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 and this, and so we're not going to continue dating. And they went, that's not who I am. Well, it's what you did, so get out my house.
Yeah, you don't.
I'm not that person. I would never. And I'm like, but I was here. You did.
I watched.
I mean, I was the one you did it to. Like, I didn't just watch. I was part of this situation.
And also, people who are who have read any history knows that America isn't like coming from a place of peace and universal prosperity and going into this dark tunnel of horribleness. No, we've always been pretty fucked up in various ways, which changes from decade to decade, but there's always been,
I mean,
racism, there's always been sexism, there's always been unequal pay, there's always been the rich trying to get richer and stomp on poor people's faces. Like, that's always been America. Just because we don't want it to be anymore doesn't mean you can deny it.
I think when people say this isn't who we are, what they mean is this has never affected me before.
Yeah.
Because like we live in a nation that was built on genocide and white supremacy.
Yeah.
We do. It sucks.
That sucks.
It's not, I would like it to stop being that way. Yeah.
We can change the future. We can't change the past. And trying to deny the past makes it a lot harder to steer the future. Because the people who steer are the ones who know what history consists of and how to move humans around. And now historians are saying that pretty much every unsuccessful coup has been followed by a successful coup a year or a decade later, usually by the same people, sometimes by whoever succeeded them. And I'm like, can we not?
Time will tell.
What hasn't been tried to stop that from happening? Or what has been tried successfully? Because I'm sure.
Right. Not every unsuccessful coup in history later worked.
Exactly.
A lot of fascist ones did. So we should not do what those opposition parties did.
which was wring their hands and say, "Oh gosh, I wish this wasn't happening. This isn't who we are." That might be why I have an issue with that.
Just perhaps. I'm
Oh well.
still so bothered by what I was gonna tell you.
It's right here.
It's right here. Huh?
Was it about the Theralia map?
No.
Was it about a baby quilt for Caroline? Caroline?
Carolyn.
Okay.
I know what it was. Okay. The word that is spelled Schism. How do you pronounce that?
Schism.
One more time? I couldn't hear you.
Schism.
Okay, that's how I've always pronounced it too. And earlier tonight, someone pronounced it schism.
I've heard that one too, but that sounds like a bodily fluid to me.
It does to me too. I had to take a second to parse what I had just heard. They were like, I don't want any more schism. And I was like, ew, no, wait, what?
Who does? Oh.
Yeah, it just struck me as one of those words that I had only seen written down. So I've been pronouncing it like that. I've been pronouncing it schism this whole time. Don't actually know if I'm correct about that. Gonna Google it right now, as a matter of fact. Just to see.
While you're at it, sobriquet, sobriquet, sobriquois.
I will find out. Just a moment. Okay. Either one is correct. Okay. Hang on.
So it's a regional thing. We could have one. We could have one over the pronunciation of it.
We'd have. Oh God. Good.
That's a riddle for you. Bangs out of control. Oh my God. Yeah, I really do really want to get a phone call from someone who represents a wealthy university saying, yeah, we want to pay $1 million to hang this on our wall in our chemistry department and make it like a landmark art thing. Like,
that would be cool. I'm sorry to tell you that sobriquet and sobriquet are also both correct.
Oh, fuck. That's not useful. What does it originate in France?
I don't know. I didn't look. Hang on.
Or is it like foyer, where it totally doesn't originate in France, but people pretend it does?
I often say foyer just because.
That's right.
Well, partly because I follow. It does originate from the French, so sobriquet is probably a little more correct. I follow a blog called McMansion Hell. And it's like an architect who just makes fun of the architecture of McMansions and is really, really funny. And one of the things is that they, all of the like shitty McMansions have the giant foyer that goes up to like 3 stories and whatever. And they call it a lawyer foyer. Which I always pronounce in my head exactly like that.
Lawyer foyer. That's all I had. I have rather been enjoying Brown's little game, probably too much. And of course I was like, I am addicted to this thing. It is definitely eating up my days. I should probably make myself a rule. Like, I can play it for the day after I post my video, but not at all otherwise. And then I haven't posted in 3 weeks. So I'm like, well, I can't wait.
Yeah. What game is it?
It's called I Love Hue 2.
Oh, I haven't played that one, but I played the first one. That game is very addictive.
Yeah, especially if you have a long-standing passion for color theory and also organizing shit. I get that Good Mythical Morning song stuck in my head a lot of the time when I'm playing. I gotta make things right. Make it.
That's actually a Weird Al song, right?
OCD?
Yeah.
Rhett and Link sang a Weird Al song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't write that.
Didn't they?
No, they just made a video of it.
What about the Bacon song?
Bacon song, I have no idea. I'm not familiar with the Bacon song. Because I was Googling for that video and I came across the original.
Crazy. Now I have to look. I mean, it's clever enough to be Weird Al. Do, 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 do. And you listened and it was definitely the same one?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they used the original audio and they're just lip syncing, honestly. Speaking of very addictive games, I've been playing a game called Zen Koi, where you have a little fish and it swims around the pond and eats like smaller fish and keeps growing, and eventually it turns into a dragon. Very soothing. And then you can breed it with other fish in the pond, like other koi in the pond, and so you can get different colors.
Nice.
It's great.
My phone doesn't like trying to use the internet from the art cave. So,
okay. Well, let me verify. I misspelled Weird Al.
oh, hang on. I've got a computer too, don't I?
Wait, maybe it was them. I can't tell. It says it was the internet's now saying it was them. So okay, I guess it is a Rhett and Link song, and someone
You may have slipped sideways, you know.
It's possible. I was gonna say that someone thought it was a Weird Al song and re-uploaded it because that happens a lot to Weird Al, you know?
Right, people just hear a parody and go, well, it must be.
Mm-hmm.
What other
Yeah.
names in parody do we know?
Me personally?
Rhett and Link.
Richard Cheese.
Stephen Lynch. But I mean, those guys all have very different styles. You can tell them apart.
It's true.
Did you know that Amanda Palmer did the backup vocals on First World Problems by Weird Al?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm going to disconnect my keyboard and put you up where you can see what I'm working on.
I'm going to grab this book, which I nearly kept in frame while I was making my dramatic gesture. Okay.
Drama, it doesn't have to be in frame. Oh. I don't even know. Do I need to have this plugged in at the moment? No. So, I'm going to be drawing the geometry that Brian Froud uses that he wrote about when he wrote fairies, and I love it and I use it all the time.
Cool.
Because it really makes it life easier when it comes to figuring out your thirds and your composition in general. Takes the guesswork out of composition. So we've got light.
This has reminded me that I saw a thread of Lord of the Rings memes, and I feel like there was one that I wanted to read you. So hang on one moment.
Yes, do.
First, I have to find it.
My ruler won't quite reach corner to corner, so I sort of have to guess. I'm usually pretty good at that, though.
Okay, this is not what I was looking for. Apparently, there's a lot of Lord of the Rings content happening right now, but it's a painting of the Argonath, except they're dabbing.
I saw one that was basically, why are we all lusting after elves? Hobbits are clearly where it's at. They got names like Daddy Two Foot. They eat 6 meals a day.
Always drunk and high.
Yes. Run around barefoot. In capris.
It's a solid point. I mean,
we didn't watch it for New Year's Eve, but we did end up getting around to watching all 3 of the Lord of the Rings on cast commentary. And it was funny because I told Blue we watched it the normal way last year. Maybe we should watch it on commentary. And he was like, I'm not really into commentary. I was like, yeah, but this is different. Like, just believe me. Like, we can try it for the first disc and see what you think. He got hooked. He fucking loved it.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
That is like the best commentary that there's been. And I do include Commentary the Musical in that.
Right? I mean, definitely. I think it paved the way for things like Commentary the Musical. People being like, oh wait, this can be entertaining too. It isn't just for people who like punishment.
Right? Oh, gosh, where the heck? I really thought this was going to be close to the top. I'm sorry that you're just watching me scroll, but not even
everybody else.
Okay, that's true. No, everybody else is watching you. You're probably doing something cool, hopefully.
I'm trying.
I can't see you, so.
Ooh, that was off quite a bit, but it's okay. We'll cover it in paint. It'll be great. Make it the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I have that stuck in my head too. Definitely gonna listen to that after the podcast.
The other day, someone said something about I need to turn this picture around or something, and like I always do, I was like, turn the picture around. And then I stopped. And about 5 minutes later, Jason was making his lunch. He's like, why is Gloria Estefan? What is
I've been getting the most random shit stuck in my head lately. The other day, I woke up in the morning with Skimbleshanks the railway cat stuck in my head. And I was like, first of all, I haven't watched Cats in like a year. And second of all, why this song?
Oh man, I went ahead. So the story's been on my mind a lot. My own story about using music to endure radiation and then using it to like exercise that pain. I posted that story, just the basic story, like 2-paragraph version, in the colorectal support group I'm in, which is like survivors, but also not survivors, but just it's a community of cancer people. And I posted that story. I've gotten 1,200 likes and like 90, 100 comments of people being everywhere from wow, that's brilliant to shit, I didn't realize I did the same thing. And now I back up because I remember. I have to back up. I didn't post it in the support group. I posted it in the Terry Pratchett book club because I said Granny Weatherwax taught me how to do this, and this is what I did. And those were the people who engaged so much. And yeah, there was a whole lot of shit. I didn't realize I'd done that. And yes, you're right. Granny Weatherwax totally taught all of us. Wow. And I was like, you know what I left out of the story because nobody gives a shit. Like I was doing the really short version is it was LP's music. So I went on to an LP video for Muddy Water and I made that a comment, just rewrote the story again, like LP, your music did this. And I don't know if there's ever going to be any response to it because it's just a comment in like a 3-year-old video, but But I felt better for having said it. I need to do this. Is how we process. The stories keep appearing in my mind and needing to be told, and I'm like, yeah, later, and later needs to come.
Yeah. Well, it's been a whole year of a lot of shit that is going to have to be processed. So,
yeah, right? I shall write the book as quickly as possible, and then everybody can use it to process this. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it will inspire or not, or no one will notice.
I found the Lord of the Rings memes.
Tell!
Doctor, we had to remove your appendix. J.R.R. Tolkien. But that's where I explain why elves hate dwarves.
Yes.
And then are you familiar with Among Us? I'm assuming the kids play it.
Of course they do.
Frodo shows up in Rivendell with the single most cursed object in the world, Elrond, and then it's just an Among Us emergency meeting. And then there are 4 book covers for the Silmarillion with new titles. Elves behaving badly. What happens in exile stays in exile. Feanor no. And this is why we can't have nice things.
Okay, so Avedon couldn't go to sleep the other night because we'd watched the trilogy, and even on commentary, he could see a big fuck off spider getting fought with by Sam, terrified like daylights out of him. But you know, he doesn't care when he's awake, but he tries to go to sleep, and giant spider fight scene in his head. So I had to go in there, and I was like, kiddo, let's discuss some things. First and foremost, do you know why Tolkien wrote giant spiders? Because this isn't the only one. I'm reading The Hobbit aloud to him at bedtime. Like on alternating nights, I'll read We're on Dangerous Angels, reading to the big kids, and then on alternating nights, I read The Hobbit to Abby, and that's how I'm finally reading aloud to Abby, because it's been a bitch trying to get that to happen. But I was like, there's going to be big spiders here too. There's big spiders in all of Tolkien's books. Do you know why? And he's like, why? And I was like, because when he was a kid, he was in a country with big spiders, and one of them terrified the lights out of him when he was like 3. Like, can you imagine? And he's chuckling at this point, and I'm like, and so he grew up to be a writer, and he took this thing that scared him, and he made it the villain in all of his fiction, and he's laughing at this point. He's like, okay, so like therapy then. Like, yeah,
pretty much.
Get out. So, yeah, he does better when he knows why things. Oh, fuss budgets.
All right, where are we?
Neodymium.
Good, thank you. So about Neodymium. We're at the Black Gate is closed, aren't we?
Yes.
Because they stumbled on through the weary end of the night, and until the coming of another day of fear, they walked in silence with bowed heads, seeing nothing and hearing nothing but the wind hissing in their ears.
Jesus Christ. I love you, Tolkien. Donald, you have a way with words.
I thought you were saying I love you to me. I was about to say I love you too.
Well, I do love you.
I love you too.
But it wasn't.
I realized I was like, wow, I must have read that really good. All right, where are we here?
By the way, this is funny. So here's the sketch I was working from when I did Lanthanum. Let's just do a side by side here so you can see. You can start reading. I'll just get this out.
All right, well, tell me when to look up. Before the next day dawned, their journey to Mordor was over. The marshes and the desert were behind them. Before them, darkling against a pallid sky, the great mountains reared their threatening heads. Wait a minute, we're past this, right?
The
'Cause
gate
we
had
read it-
opened, hadn't it?
I don't think the gate hadn't opened, but we had read about the how far it was as the crow flies.
Yes, yes, it was right after that because like you said, the gate hadn't opened yet.
Right. There's like, okay, so I think we had as the crow flies was like a furlong away, and then the cry of brazen-throated trumpets was heard.
Yeah, I remember them.
And then the next section was a little bit longer, and I think that's where we stopped. Starts with, well, here we are, said Sam.
Yeah, that's where we were.
Okay. Cool. This is what happens when we take 2 weeks off. That's my fault. Okay. Well, here we are, said Sam. Here's the gate, and it looks to me as if that's about as far as we're ever going to get. My word, but the gaffer would have a thing or two to say if he saw me now. Often said I'd come to a bad end if I didn't watch my step, he did. But now I don't suppose I'll ever see the old fellow again. He'll miss his chance if I told he so, Sam. More's the pity. He could go on telling me as long as he got breath. If only I could see his old face again. But I'd have to get a wash first, or he wouldn't know me. I suppose it's no good asking what way do we go now. We can't go no further unless we want to ask the orcs for a lift. No, no, said Gollum. No use.
Jesus, that took forever. So, oh, come on. It kind of works. You can see it.
I can see it. I definitely, from the rough sketch, thought that it was a shrew.
You've had too much Redwall.
Yes, yes, I have. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm kind of amused. This is part of the anyone who wants to pay $1 million for the table gets this sketchbook as well, because holy shit, it's like all of the things. Anyway,
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Cerium time.
No, no, said Gollum. No use. We can't go further. Smeagol said so. He said, we'll go to the gate, and then we'll see. And we do see. Oh, yes, my precious, we do see. Smeagol knew hobbits could not go this way. Oh, yes, Smeagol knew. Then what the plague did you bring us here for? Said Sam, not feeling in the mood to be just or reasonable. Master said so. Master says, bring us to the gate. So good Smeagol does. Master said so. Wise master. I did, said Frodo. His face was grim and set, but resolute. He was filthy, haggard, and pinched with weariness, but he cowered no longer, and his eyes were clear. I said so because I purpose to enter Mordor, and I know no other way. Therefore I shall go this way. I do not ask anyone to go with me. No, no, master, wailed Gollum. Oh, that wasn't much of a wail, sorry. No, no, master, wailed Gollum, pawing at him and seeming in great distress. No use that way, no use. Don't take the precious to him. He'll eat us all if he gets it, eat all the world. Keep it, nice master, and be kind to Smeagol. Don't let him have it. Or go away, go to nice places, and give it back to little Smeagol. Yes, yes, master, give it back, eh? Smeagol will keep it safe. He will do lots of good, especially to nice hobbits. Hobbits, go home. Don't go to the gate. I am commanded to go to the land of Mordor, and therefore I shall go, said Frodo. If there is only one way, then I must take it. What comes after must come. Sam said nothing. The look on Frodo's face was enough for him. He knew that words of his were useless. And after all, he never had any real hope in the affair from the beginning. but being a cheerful hobbit, he had not needed hope as long as despair could be postponed. That's a whole ass mood.
That is such a mood.
Now they were come to the bitter end. But he had stuck to his master all the way. That was what he had chiefly come for, and he would still stick to him. His master would not go to Mordor alone. Sam would go with him, and at any rate they would get rid of Gollum. Gollum, however, did not intend to be got rid of yet. He knelt at Frodo's feet, wringing his hands and squeaking. "Not this way, master," he pleaded. "There's another way. Oh, yes, indeed there is. Another way, darker, more difficult to find, more secret. But Smeagol knows it. Let Smeagol show you." "Another way," said Frodo doubtfully, looking down at Gollum with searching eyes. Yes, indeed, there was another way. Smeagol found it. Let's go and see if it's still there." "You've not spoken of this before." "No, Master did not ask. Master did not say what he meant to do. He does not tell poor Smeagol. He says, 'Smeagol, take me to the gate, and then goodbye. Smeagol can run away and be good.' But now he says, I purpose to enter Mordor this way. So Smeagol is very afraid. He does not want to lose nice Master. And he promised, Master made him promise to save the precious. But Master is going to take it to him, straight to the Black Hand, if Master will go this way. So Smeagol must save them both, and he thinks of another way that there was once upon a time. Nice Master. Smeagol very good, always helps." Sam frowned. If he could have bored holes in Gollum with his eyes, he would have done. His mind was full of doubt. To all appearances, Gollum was genuinely distressed and anxious to help Frodo. But Sam, remembering the overheard debate, found it hard to believe that the long-submerged Smeagol had come out on top. That voice, at any rate, had not had the last word in the debate. Sam's guess was that the Smeagol and Gollum halves, or what in his own mind he called Slinker and Stinker, had made a truce and a temporary alliance. Neither wanted the enemy to get the ring. Both wished to keep Frodo from capture and under their eye as long as possible. And at any rate, as long as Stinker still had a chance of laying hands on his precious. Whether there really was another way into Mordor, Sam doubted. "And it's a good thing neither half the old villain don't know what Master means to do," he thought. "If he knew that Mr. Frodo was trying to put an end to his precious for good and all, there'd be trouble pretty quick, I bet. Anyhow, old Stinker is so frightened of the enemy, and he's under orders of some kind from him, or was, that he'd give us away rather than be caught helping us, rather than let his precious be melted, maybe. At least that's my idea. And I hope the Master will think it out carefully. He's as wise as any, but he's soft-hearted, that's what he is. It's beyond any Gamgee to guess what he'll do next." Frodo did not answer Gollum at once. While these doubts were passing through Sam's slow but shrewd mind, I don't even think Sam's that slow.
No.
Sam's pretty smart.
Right?
Well, these doubts were passing through Sam's mind, which I disagree with Tolkien on the nature of. He stood gazing out towards the dark cliff of Cirith Gorgor. The hollow in which they had taken refuge was delved in the side of a low hill, at some little height above a long trench-like valley that lay between it and the outer buttresses of the mountain wall. In the midst of the valley stood the black foundations of the western watchtower. By morning light, the roads that converged upon the gate of Mordor could now be clearly seen, pale and dusty, one winding back northwards, another dwindling eastwards into the mist that clung about the feet of Ered Luthien, and a third that ran towards him. As it bent sharply round the tower, it entered a narrow defile and passed not far below the hollow where he stood. Westward, to his right, it turned, skirting the shoulders of the mountains, and went off southwards into the deep shadows that mantled all the western sides of Ephel-Duath. Beyond his sight, it journeyed on into the narrow land between the mountains and the great river. As he gazed, Frodo became aware that there was a great stir and movement on the plain. It seemed as if whole armies were on the march, though for the most part they were hidden by the reeks and fumes drifting from the fens and wastes beyond. But here and there he caught the gleam of spears and helmets. and over the levels beside the roads horsemen could be seen riding in many companies. He remembered his vision from afar upon Amon Hen, so few days before, though now it seemed many years ago. Then he knew that the hope that had for one wild moment stirred in his heart was vain. The trumpets had not rung in challenge, but in greeting. This was no assault upon the Dark Lord by the men of Gondor, risen like avenging ghosts from the graves of valor long passed away. These were men of other race, out of the wide Eastlands, gathered to the summons of their overlord, armies that had encamped before his gate by night, and now marched in to swell his mounting power. As if suddenly made fully aware of the peril of their position, alone in the growing light of day, so near to this vast menace, Frodo quickly drew his frail gray hood close upon his head and stepped down into the dell.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Cerium represents abrasiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Because I say so. And it's used in abrasive, so that works.
Mm-hmm.
Vietnamese mossy frog or desert rain frog? Desert rain, Vietnamese mossy.
Vietnamese mossy. I feel like desert rain looks too bulbous.
He is very bulbous, but they are so fucking cute that I kind of wanted one in. But yeah, I was going with Vietnamese mossy. And then I was like, okay, thank you.
I just, if you're asking me which one I would use as a Brillo pad, I'm going Vietnamese mossy frog.
Check.
Okay. He stepped down into the dell. Then he turned to Gollum. Smeagol, he said, I will trust you once more. Indeed, it seems that I must do so, and that it is my fate to receive help from you where I least looked for it, and your fate to help me whom you long pursued with evil purpose. So far you have deserved well of me, and have kept your promise truly. Truly, I say, and mean, he added with a glance at Sam, for twice now we have been in your power, and you have done no harm to us. Nor have you tried to take from me what you once sought. May the third time prove the best. But I warn you, Smeagol, you are in danger. Yes, yes, master, said Gollum. Dreadful danger. Smeagol's bones shake to think of it, but he doesn't run away. He must help nice master. I did not mean the danger that we all share, said Frodo. I mean a danger to yourself alone. You swore a promise by what you call the precious. Remember that. It will hold you to it, but it will seek a way to twist it to your own undoing. Already you are being twisted. You revealed yourself to me just now, foolishly. Give it back to Smeagol, you said. Do not say that again. Do not let that thought grow in you. You will never get it back. But the desire of it may betray you to a bitter end. You will never get it back. In the last need, Smeagol, I should put on the precious, and the precious mastered you long. If I, wearing it, were to command you, you would obey, even if it were to leap from a precipice or to cast yourself into the fire.
Foreshadowing!
Ah! And such would be my command. So have a care, Smeagol. Sam looked at his master with approval, but also with surprise. There was a look in his face and a tone in his voice that he had not known before. It had always been a notion of his that the kindness of dear Mr. Frodo was of such a high degree that it must imply a fair measure of blindness. Of course, he also firmly held the incompatible belief that Mr. Frodo was the wisest person in the world, with the possible exception of old Mr. Bilbo and of Gandalf.
Oh, see, that's what makes him slow.
Gollum, in his own way, and with much more excuse as his acquaintance was much briefer, may have made a similar mistake, confusing kindness and blindness. At any rate, this speech abashed and terrified him. He grovelled on the ground and could speak no clear words, but, nice master. Frodo waited patiently for a while, then he spoke again, less sternly. Come now, Gollum or Smeagol, if you wish, and tell me of this other way, and show me, if you can, what hope there is in it to justify me in turning aside from my plain path. I am in haste. But Gollum was in a pitiable state, and Frodo's threat had quite unnerved him. It was not easy to get any clear account out of him amid his mumblings and squeakings and the frequent interruptions in which he crawled on the floor and begged them both to be kind to poor little Smeagol. After a while he grew a little calmer, and Frodo gathered bit by bit that, if a traveller followed the road that turned west of Etheldua, he would come in time to a crossing in a circle of dark trees. On the right a road went down to Osgiliath and the bridges of the Anduin. In the middle the road went on southwards. On, said Gollum. We never went that way. They say it goes on 100 leagues until you can see the great water that is never still. There are lots of fishes there. And big birds eat fishes. Nice birds. We never went there, alas, no. We never had a chance. And further still there are more lands, they say. But the yellow face is very hot there, and there are seldom any clouds. We do not want to see that land. No, said Frodo, but do not wander from your road. What of the third turning? Oh yes, there is a third way, said Gollum. That is the road to the left. Once it begins to climb up, winding and climbing back towards the tall shadows. When it turns round the black rock, you'll see it. Suddenly you'll see it above you, and you'll want to hide. See it? What will you see? The old fortress, very old, very horrible now. We used to hear tales from the south, when Smeagol was young long ago. Oh yes, we used to tell lots of tales in the evening, sitting by the banks of the great river in the Willow Lands, and the river was younger too. Oh. He began to weep and mutter. The hobbits waited patiently. Tales out of the south, Gollum went on again, about the tall men with the shining eyes, and their houses like hills of stone, and the silver crown of their king in his white tree. Wonderful tales. They built very tall towers, and one they raised was silver white, and in it there was a stone like the moon, and round it were great white walls. Oh yes, there were many tales about the Tower of the Moon. That would be Minas Ithil, that Isildur, the son of Elendil, built, said Frodo. It was Isildur who cut off the finger of the enemy. Yes, he has only 4 on the black hand, but they are enough, said Gollum, shuddering, and he hated Isildur's city. What does he not hate? Said Frodo. But what has the Tower of the Moon to do with us? Well, master, there it was, and there it is, the tall tower and the white houses and the wall, but not nice now, not beautiful. He conquered it long ago. It is a very terrible place now. Travelers shiver when they see it. They creep out of sight. They avoid its shadow. The master will have to go that way. That is the only other way. For the mountains are lower there, and the old road goes up until it reaches a dark pass at the top. And then it goes down again to Gorgoroth. His voice sank to a whisper, and he shuddered. All right, there is no break coming for several pages, so I think I'm going to end it there.
That makes sense. So yeah, and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff.
I've got my Vietnamese mossy frog sketch. He's going to have a sandblasting tool as his weapon. And all of the Lanthanides are going to be Roman soldiers, and all of the Actonides are going to be Mongol soldiers, because those are the only kinds of helmets that I could modify for frog heads and not have them be totally unrecognizable.
Fair enough.
Run into an issue, though, because I want the backgrounds to line up, of course, and Lanthanum and Actinium are over at the coffee shop. So I might have to figure that out.
Sounds like.
He only wants it up for a month, and it's going to take me a lot longer than a month to do 28 more. So it's entirely possible that they'll have to just come home, and then I can use them for the thing, for the matching of the backgrounds. I could do all the ones in the middle, and then just save Cerium and whatever.
Yeah, that one.
I have got a new patron. One of the people from up in Boulder is now a $20 a month patron. That's awesome. I was like, yes, get more in, put more back out. I've been wanting to be a NerdForge patron forever and ever and ever. So I started patronizing them. It's a terrible word. But I like not all of the money, but some. And that gave me access to Martina and Hansi, who are Norwegian, trying American candy. They did a 30-minute taste test of American candy.
Nice.
And some of the things they were like, yeah, this is okay. This is different. We don't have anything like this in Norway. But they tried Hershey Kisses. And Martina was like, oh, why? Why would you do this to chocolate? Ah! Oh, the aftertaste.
Should have tried Hershey's Hugs.
Hugs are better. I'm having the minty kind. Those aren't so bad. Or those they're still bad and grainy and awful, but at least they're minty too. So
it was terrible, but at least it was minty.
Pretty much. Yeah. I love you.
I love you too. I will see you next week.
Sounds good. Cuidado.
Adiós.